In this video, we are going to reveal the emotional and physical journey of intimacy as we grow older. If you're watching this video, comment "Great" to let us know you're ready to explore how aging can deepen your connections and bring new meaning to your relationships. Aging is a natural part of life, but it often comes with changes that can leave us feeling uncertain or disconnected from those we love. Today, we'll explore how to embrace these changes with grace and rediscover intimacy in ways that are even more profound than in our younger years. Stay with us until the end to learn how aging can be a beautiful journey of growth, connection, and love. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Your support means a lot, so if you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up to help spread our message. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, comment "Amazing" below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a "more." Your feedback is crucial and helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. Hello, my name is Ruth Williams, and as I sit here reflecting on the decades that have shaped me, I am overwhelmed by the depth and richness of my life. Each wrinkle on my face, each silver strand of hair, tells a story of triumphs, heartaches, laughter, and, most importantly, the wisdom that comes with growing older. As someone who has lived through countless phases of life, from the exuberance of youth to the quiet contemplation of old age, I feel compelled to share something that doesn't get spoken about nearly enough. It's a topic that often hides in the shadows of embarrassment and fear, yet it affects many men and couples as the years pass by. I want to talk about the natural process of aging, particularly how it impacts intimacy and sexual health. I know this may be a subject that some find awkward or uncomfortable, but from the bottom of my heart, I believe we need to talk about it openly. Aging, in all its complexity, is not something to dread. It is a journey that can be embraced with grace and dignity, if only we learn to confront the changes that come with it. Aging does not diminish our worth. In fact, it deepens the beauty of our experiences. Just as our skin wrinkles, our hair grays, and our joints stiffen, so too does the male body undergo its own transformations. I remember so vividly the days of my youth when intimacy seemed inseparable from the vitality of our bodies. When I first met the man who would become my husband, I was captivated by his energy, his masculinity, and yes, by the physical passion we shared. He was strong, confident, and in those early days, sex was fiery and exhilarating. We couldn't keep our hands off each other, and every touch felt like it could set the world on fire. It was a time of exploration, where every embrace was charged with the electricity of youth. Our love felt invincible, and intimacy was tied to the physical connection we shared. But as life moved forward, so did we. The once strong bodies we both had began to show signs of wear. My husband, always so full of vitality, began to notice changes in his body that neither of us were prepared for. The first sign was the decline in his erections. At first, it was easy to dismiss as just a passing thing, something that would correct itself with time. But the truth was, this was a new chapter, one we hadn't anticipated. His erections became less firm, less frequent, and sometimes, before we could even begin to enjoy the closeness, they would disappear altogether. It was as if his body was betraying him, and I could see the frustration in his eyes, the disappointment he carried silently. In those moments, my heart ached for him. As his wife, I wanted to be there for him in every way, not just physically, but emotionally. I knew this change was affecting his confidence, his sense of masculinity. I could see it in the way he carried himself, in the quiet moments when he thought I wasn't watching. But I also knew something else. Intimacy doesn't die with age. It simply evolves. We were not the same people we had been in our 20s, but that didn't mean we couldn't experience a deep connection in this new stage of life. Our love wasn't just about physical pleasure anymore. It had become about trust, understanding, and a bond that goes far beyond the surface. We began to redefine what intimacy meant for us. No longer was it solely about physical performance or the ability to sustain an erection. It became about closeness, about the quiet moments where we would lie together, simply holding each other, breathing in sync, feeling the warmth of our bodies pressed together. We found joy in the tender kisses, the soft caresses, and the shared memories that filled the spaces between words. These moments were intimate in ways that youth had never allowed us to appreciate. The love we shared in our older years was less about passion and more about tenderness, less about performance and more about presence. As my husband and I faced these changes together, I learned one of the most important lessons of my life. Love, real love, doesn't depend on the physical. Yes, our bodies age, and yes, they change in ways that can be difficult to accept. But that does not mean we lose our ability to connect deeply with one another. On the contrary, the challenges of aging can bring couples closer if we allow them to. The physical changes that come with time are just another part of the human experience. One that, if embraced, can lead to a deeper and more profound form of intimacy. There were times, of course, when frustration crept in. There were moments when I could see the sadness in my husband's eyes, when the weight of his changing body seemed too much for him to carry. But we faced it together. We talked about it, we laughed about it, and most importantly, we accepted it. This acceptance, this ability to talk openly and honestly, is what kept our connection strong. We didn't let the physical changes define us or our relationship. Instead, we chose to focus on what really mattered: the love we had built over the years, the experiences we had shared, and the future we still had together. So, to anyone out there who is struggling with the changes that aging brings, I want to say this: you are not alone. These changes do not diminish your value or your ability to love and be loved. Aging is not the end of intimacy. It's the beginning of a new kind of closeness, one that is richer, deeper, and more meaningful than the fleeting passions of youth. Embrace it, talk about it, and remember, love, in all its forms, only grows stronger with time. It was around that time that I noticed something else changing, something I hadn't prepared for. My husband, the man who had always been so vibrant, confident, and self-assured, began to experience a noticeable shrinkage in the size of his penis. At first, I didn't give it much thought, assuming it was just a part of the natural aging process that we both had to accept. But soon enough, I realized how deeply this was affecting him. The man who had always carried himself with pride and strength was now pulling away emotionally, retreating into a shell I had never seen before. He became quiet about intimacy, no longer initiating the playful touches or affectionate gestures that had once come so naturally. The bedroom, which had always been a space of connection and love, started to feel heavy with unspoken feelings. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment "watching" below to let me know you're still with me. One evening, I decided to bring it up gently, sensing his discomfort, but knowing that avoidance wasn't the answer. The look on his face when I mentioned it told me everything. His eyes, once filled with confidence and warmth, now reflected uncertainty and even shame. My heart ached for him. This was a man who had faced countless challenges in life with unwavering strength. But here he was, feeling as though he had lost a piece of himself. He was embarrassed, and that embarrassment was slowly eroding the connection between us. I could see it happening, and it terrified me. For a man who had always been proud of his masculinity, of his ability to please and connect with me on such a deep physical level, the idea that his body was now betraying him was devastating. He began to avoid conversations about sex entirely. It wasn't just about the physical changes. It was about what those changes symbolized to him. He felt like he was losing a part of his identity, as though his value as a man was tied to his ability to perform in the way he used to. It was heartbreaking to watch because, in my eyes, none of that mattered. His worth was not defined by those physical abilities. but by the love, support, and companionship we had shared for decades. I couldn't stand by and watch him suffer in silence, so I decided to take action. I spent hours researching everything I could about the changes that happen to men's bodies as they age, hoping to find answers that would help both of us understand what was happening. What I found was eye-opening. The shrinkage of the penis with age is a completely natural process, something that happens to almost all men as they grow older. It occurs due to a variety of factors: loss of elasticity in the skin, reduced blood flow, and changes in hormone levels. None of this was unusual, and more importantly, none of it had to signal the end of pleasure or intimacy. When I shared what I had learned with him, I could see the relief in his eyes. But the emotional weight of it all still lingered. It wasn't just about understanding the science behind it. It was about coming to terms with a new reality. As we talked through it, we both realized that this was an opportunity for us to redefine what intimacy meant for us. Yes, the physical changes were undeniable, but they didn't have to be the end of our closeness. In fact, they could open the door to a deeper connection, one that was less reliant on physicality and more grounded in emotional and spiritual closeness. As we began to navigate this new chapter, we discovered something beautiful. Intimacy became less about performance and more about presence. We started to cherish the quiet moments, holding hands while lying in bed, exchanging tender kisses without any pressure or expectation. We found new ways to be close, ways that didn't require the same physicality as before, but still brought immense joy and satisfaction. Our emotional bond, which had always been the cornerstone of our relationship, grew even stronger. We learned to communicate in ways that went beyond words, ways that only years of love and understanding could foster. I want to share this part of my life because I believe it's a conversation that needs to happen more often. As a society, we are so focused on youth, on physical beauty and performance, that we forget the incredible depth that comes with aging. We forget that intimacy isn't just about the body. It's about the connection between two souls. Growing older doesn't mean the end of love or passion. It means an opportunity to rediscover what truly matters. Through this journey, my husband and I have come to a place of acceptance. He no longer feels the need to prove anything, and I no longer worry about the things we can't control. Instead, we focus on the beauty of what we've built together. We've shared a life full of ups and downs, and these changes are just another part of that journey. We've learned that real love isn't about youthful vigor or flawless bodies. It's about being there for each other through every phase, every change, and every challenge. For anyone going through something similar, I want you to know that you are not alone. The changes that come with aging are natural, and they don't have to take away the joy and pleasure of intimacy. In fact, they can deepen it in ways you never expected. Embrace the changes. Talk about them openly with your partner, and remember that love is so much more than the physical. It's about connection, trust, and the shared history that binds you together. Aging, in all its complexities, can be beautiful if we allow ourselves to see it that way. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. By joining our community, you're taking part in a movement to live healthier, happier, and more vibrant lives. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to check out other interesting videos on our channel before you go. Your journey to better health and deeper connections starts today.